Hi everyone. Another very short question that literally is lifetimes and lifetimes of exploration. Hi Claire, what is the nature of being? Yeah, we use the words so often, I think, that there's a risk they become a spiritual cliche and just a sort of throwaway line actually without really recognizing the enormity that it's containing. My true nature, we might talk about the nature of being, but it's so worth really considering what is meant by that, really what is the nature of being. And I love Jack Pransky's words when he said, all we are is peace, love, and wisdom, and the power to create the illusion that we're not. Because I think that sums up the sort of two realms that are going on in terms of the nature of being. So the truth of us, the nature of being is just existence, isn't it? Really, beingness, isness. What is that? What we do know, it has to be before thought, before belief, before concepts, before meaning is created, because all of that changes. So the truth, the stability, the ongoing essence that doesn't change in relation to whether we're hungry or tired or someone's just annoyed us. The nature of being, which means the truth of being, is prior to whatever changes. And so the nature of being is really what is here all the time, and which gives rise to that ever-changing experience. And what's here all the time is beingness, isn't it? Just beingness, existence. We could consider it as intelligence, that there is, in order for that existence to exist, there's an intelligence at play, or not an intelligence, just the sort of intelligence of existence happening. Consciousness, which is the knowing of existence. These things are all what's necessary in order for being to happen, and they're all before the ever-changing content of experience. So the nature of being is boundaryless. There's no division in space or time, because it's prior to any concept of boundary. It's infinite, absolute. There's no edges to it. There's no relativity in it. It's prior to the relative, prior to definition and concept and comparison. And this is what is the heart of this exploration, is the return of the mind to that space. Because the mind, the totality really of the human body mind, as Jack Pransky said, is the power to create the illusion that we're not that we're not the infinite and absolute, that we're not the nature of being, that we are a mother, a son, a daughter, a teacher, a boss, a colleague, a neighbor. We're fat, we're thin, we're tall, we're sociable, unsociable, extrovert, introvert, happy, sad, poorly treated, a victim, a villain, to blame, shameful, scared, unhappy. That's the power of the body mind to create this contentful experience of what we are. And it's so powerful, it's so compelling, it's so focused in on this believed idea of ourselves, not as true nature, not as the infinite absolute, not as what exists prior to ever-changing thought and experience, but that we are this limited, defined entity that has the power to objectively decide, to initiate behavior, to make choices, to control being, and to control how other beings relate. And that's the power of the body mind, to create that illusory separate entity, which or an experience which is continually revolving round and round this separate me, this separate self. And that illusory me, because it looks like if anything happens to that, then beingness ends, the nature of being will end, when no, that is just a creation. It's a creation of mind, a creation of learning, a creation of mental phenomena. But because it looks like survival, and because it looks to be at the center of how everything of all importance really, it's the focus. It takes all the energy, all the attention, all the resources, all the behavior is whirring around that. And so those are the two facets of existence: either the nature of being, which is what we are, which is what the mind returns back to when it's no longer engaged, or the constructed experience of existing as a separate entity in an objectively separate world. And so it seems to me that the enormous power of this conversation is to engage the whole body mind in this question: what am I? What is true? And through that exploration, through a fresh understanding now of what it means to suffer, what suffering is indicating, how it's indicating that the body mind is experiencing an illusion, an illusory entity, that all of that means that the mind is continually exiting that film of separation, returning back to what's true. And now the mind, and this is not about turning off the mind, it's not about ignoring the body, this is not transcendence of a body mind, this is a body mind realigning back to the truth of existence, the truth of being. And in that alignment now, the mind is set free, because it's no longer sort of rabidly engaged in solving the problem of existence. That's the issue for the illusory entity, is how can it exist as a stable form? And the mind is continually engaged in trying to bring about that stability, but how can it? That entity can't exist as a stable form. And so now the mind is exiting from that unfulfillable dilemma, and the mind is set free to create, to imagine, to conceptualize, with none of that fixated on trying to secure the survival of me, because that me is sort of healing its way out, and or analysis, or really sort of penetrating, focused exploration that dissolves everything that's not true, that continually takes the frontiers of knowledge and understanding deeper and deeper and deeper. So that's the nature of being. The infinite absolute existence, intelligence, love, really love ultimately. And as Jack said, the power to create the illusion that we're something else. Yeah, thank you. Great question. Bye, lovely.